Hello and welcome to VTech. My name is Viral. In this video, we are going to cover certain topics around Google Meet. They're going to be how do you set up a meeting? How do you record a meeting? How do you share your screen? How do you share an audio or a video file? Some additional features for host control. So as a host, you have some additional features and controls over a meeting. So we are going to cover all of these today. All right. So stay tuned. I've also put a shortcut link to all of these in the video description. If you want to jump to any one of these topics, you can do so. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So in order to set up a meeting, what we need to do is we need to go to Google Meeting homepage. And how do you do that? There is a URL to that. That is meet.google.com. And when you get there, you can see that you have different options around, scheduling a meeting. And as we can see, this one is the enterprise account. So I'm going to close that, assuming that everybody has a free account. This is what it would look like. On the left-hand side bottom corner, you will see that there is a new meeting icon. You need to click on that. And then under that, you have three options. There is a create meeting for later. When you click on that, you simply get a link that you can use. And of course, there's an icon next to it that you can click to copy this. So once you copy this, you can share it with your colleagues, your friends, your students, and send this link to them by WhatsApp. So that makes it easier. Of course, you have to remember to save this link for yourself as well, because you'll also have to log into this link by pasting it in your browser, just like this. You paste it in your browser and hit enter, and that lets you start your meeting. So that's one of the ways you can set it up. The other way is when you click on new meeting, you also get an option to start an instant meeting. If it's an impromptu meeting, if it's an impromptu class that you want to conduct, then you can click on start an instant meeting. When you do that, as you can see, I've already logged into the meeting and it's on. You can also see there are various features here. I can mute myself. I can mute, switch on or switch off the camera as well. We will learn about these features shortly. This is one more way you can set up a meeting. Here you can also see add others. So in case if you have started an instant meeting and you want to add participants to this, you can select the participants from the drop down or type in their email address and add them. So you can use this feature as well to add, to copy the link. So you can copy the link from here, and again, if you want to share it on WhatsApp, you want to share this link with your students, participants through email, you can do that. Now let's look at the third way to set up a meeting. So the third way to schedule a meeting is when you click on new meeting, the third option is schedule in Google Calendar. Alright, this is the most used professionally at workplace. We would always schedule a meeting in Google Calendar. That is, when you click on schedule a meeting in Google Calendar, it will take you through calendar page. As you can see here, add a title, so that can be the subject of your meeting. What is the reason you're conducting this meeting? So can be anything, meeting with Viral. Alright, so you can keep subject line brief for this meeting so people understand why you're scheduling the meeting. And then here's the date and the time. If you want to change anything, you can click on it and it lets you change. So you want to schedule the meeting for a later date, you can do that by selecting the date here from the calendar. Similarly, you can schedule the meeting by time as well. So you can select the time. What time would you like to have this meeting? And of course, the duration as well. So if I start the meeting at 3:30 and keep it up to 4:30, it's about an hour's time. That's what, it tells you as well in the bracket. What is the duration of the meeting? And then there is an option here that says does not repeat. So this is just a one-off meeting that we are creating. If you want to schedule a meeting which is a recurring meeting, then you can use this option as well to automatically set up this meeting at the same time for maybe happening daily, or once a week or once a month likewise, right? So you don't have to schedule a meeting every day. This is useful for people who are in teaching profession. They want to have a specific class at a certain time, you can do that. And even for professionals, if you want to have your daily team huddles, then you can set it up as a daily meeting, recurring meeting. So that's how you do it. And then below that, as you can see, there's already a link available here to join the meeting, so we'll leave it as is. And then how soon do you want to be notified about this meeting? You've set it up at 3:30, so if you keep the notification at 30 minutes, what it means is 30 minutes before the meeting, you will receive a notification from Google that your meeting is scheduled at 3:30. If you want, you can change it to 20, 10, depending upon your choice. And then, of course, you can also have a brief description about what this meeting is going to be about. Typically, people would write agenda of the meeting here, so you can mention that here, point wise, what are the three things that we are going to discuss or certain topics that we are going to discuss. All of that can be mentioned here. And then the next part is how do you add guests? You can add guests by selecting their email address from here, or if you want, you can type in their email addresses. And once you're done with that, you can, schedule the meeting. So let's say I've added somebody here and then click on save. There you go. We have a meeting scheduled for today at 3:30 in the afternoon. So that's how you set up a Google Meeting using the home page. Now what we're going to do is we are going to move on to the next bit, that is, discussing how do you record a meeting and various other features of Google. So even before that, this is the meeting that we had scheduled. So let's click on the meeting in case if you want to know how do you attend your meeting. You can go to your calendar, click on the meeting, and then simply click on join with Google Meet. A lot of people have a question around, how many people can we invite to a Google Meet? Currently, the number is 100 participants. So you can have up to 100 participants joining the meeting. So I'll click on join with Google Meet, and it lets you, select what, camera setting and what audio settings do you currently have. And if you want to make any changes, you can click on this icon and make those changes. If you want to have any effects, if you want to blur your background, all of that is possible from here. And of course, it lets you, like I said, lets you select your audio and a video setting as well from here. So you can make all those changes from here. And once you're ready, you can go ahead and click on join now. There is a difference between an enterprise account and a free account. What I've done currently is I'm logged into my free account. And as you can see, in order to record the meeting, we are to click on these three dots. You will notice that the recording feature is not available here. That is because Google has disabled the recording feature for free users. So what we need to do is we need to use, an enterprise account to understand how does it work, right? So I've logged into an enterprise account. I'll close this box. So in order to record the meeting, what you need to do is you need to click on these three dots, and you can see here record meeting. So you can click on that. When you click on that, it gives you a confirmation that when recording is finished, it will be saved in the organizer's Meet recordings folder in Google Drive. So that's where the location of the saved recording will be. And then you can click on start recording. Now, this is an important notification. Before recording any meeting, you are expected to check with the participants if they are comfortable with that, because some of them may have their videos enabled, and do you have their consent to record the meeting. So it's important to check with the participants if it is okay to record. And then once you have the confirmation, you can click on start, and once it starts, you will see that the icon changes to red, right? So this means that now the meeting is getting recorded. Progress through the meeting. Once you are done with this meeting, you don't have to worry about stopping the recording. You can just simply log out of or leave the call, and automatically that would capture the recording of the meeting. Or if you want to, in between the meeting, if you want to stop the recording, there's an option to do that as well. Again, click on these three dots and then click on stop recording. So this stops the recording as well. So that's how you record a meeting. So now let's look at some of the features of the meeting, all the options that are available, when you log into a meeting. All right. So as you can see, these are the icons that are available as options. The first one is for turning off the microphone. There's also, when you hover your mouse over it, you also get to see there is a shortcut to it. That is hold Control key and then press D on the keyboard to mute or unmute yourself during the meeting. So yeah, that's a mute feature. And then we have video. So you can enable or disable your video by clicking on this icon. Then you have the captions option. If the meeting is happening in a different language and you want to have immediate captions, you can use that as well. Then we have this raise hand option. And again, you can see there's a shortcut to it, Control Alt and H. What this means is that during the meeting, you do not want to interrupt the speaker. Typically raise your hand when you have a question. So you can do that here by clicking on the icon, and that lets the host know that you have a question or you want to say something. So that's the option for raising your hand. And then the next one is to present. This one has, when you click on the present now option, you have three sub options under it. One is your entire screen. When you click on that, your entire desktop, computer screen is shared, and everything that you have on your desktop will be visible to all the participants. If you don't want to do that, maybe you have certain windows which are private, you don't want to share that during the meeting, then the next option available is to select a particular window. So when you click on a window, it lets you select out of all the open windows which window would you like to share. You can select that and click on share. And the third option we have is tab. And then if you read carefully, it also says best for video and animation. In order to share any video or an audio file, you will have to use a tab option from here. And when you do that, it will give you an option to select the window which has the audio file or a video file ready for sharing. Now, as you can see, we don't have any audio or a video file ready to be shared. So as an example, let me open a video file, play this one. All right. So this is the audio file that we want to share with our participants in the meeting. So I'll go back to meeting, and now as you can see, the intro video file tab is available. So I will click on that, and then I will click on share. Right. So what this will do is now, I'm able to share the video file with the participants in the meeting. As you can see, sharing this tab, all I have to do is just play the recording from here, and the participants of the meeting will be able to watch this video. All right. Now, just in case, if your participants complain about echo, because that's a common feedback that I've received, that when we share a video or an audio file, they typically hear echo. So what you need to do is you can go to your meeting and mute yourself. All right. If that's the complaint from the participants, you can mute yourself and then play the video so that it doesn't echo for the participants. So that's how you share the video or an audio file with your participants. You have to make sure that it is opened with Chrome browser, and that's the only way to share a video or an audio file at the moment with Google Meet. So now we are going to look at some of the features that are available only to the host. How do you access those features, and what are those features that are available to the host of the meeting? So if you click on these three dots, you will get to see that there are various options available. I can either click on whiteboard. So when I do that, it lets me start a whiteboard, and then we can have the participants type something, or I can type something. This will be shared real time with the participants of the meeting. So that's one. The second feature that you have as a host is when you click on these three options, you will be able to also manage the change, manage or change the layout. How do you want the layout to be? Where do you want to see the participants? Do you want it as an automated? I keep it as an auto because that doesn't really matter, but if you want, you can change it from here. Right. The next option in the host control is you can, of course, make it full screen, apply some, visual effects. And then if you scroll down all the way, you will see the settings menu. That's important if if you're hosting a meeting. Settings option is where you want to go. So you click on settings, and then under the menu, you will see host controls. So under that, you will see host management. Now you can restrict some of the participants from doing certain things in the meeting. That is, sharing their screen, typing something in the chat box, things like that. So how do you control that? You can enable this feature, and then whatever you want to enable or disable, you can select here. So if you do not wish to allow participants to share the screen, you can disable this feature, or enable it if you wish to allow them to share the other features. The one that I like the most is the attendance tracking. So if you have a large audience attending your meeting, and instead of manually tracking who's attended your meeting, you can enable this feature. So when you enable the attendance feature, what happens is at the end of the meeting, once the meeting is over, you will receive an email notification from Google. It will have an attachment, Excel attachment, that will have all the attendees and the time at which they have attended. So very, very useful, to know how punctual your participants were, and, how many participants were there who attended at what time. These are the cool features of being a host of a meeting. And please note that I'm getting all these options to me because I'm using an enterprise account. I'm not too sure if these are available with the free account, but yes, if you have the enterprise account, then you have these additional features as well. Right. That was a video on Google Meet. I hope you have enjoyed the video and some of your questions are answered. And in case if you still have certain questions that are not answered in the video, then please feel free to comment, about those questions. I 100% of the times, respond to comments and answer your questions. I also created a lot of videos around some of the tips and tricks on Excel and, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP formulas. So they're right here. If you want, you can go ahead and click on these cards and watch next videos. Please do like, share, subscribe so that others can also benefit from these videos. And thank you so much for watching and see you next time.